Now, did you grow up here in Houston?
Yeah, so born and raised in Sugar Land. I'm an identical twin.
Okay.
We got off to a rough start. We were 2 months premature. Wild. I mean, my mom was told by her doctor to like stay home from work for a month before even the pregnancy.
Oh, really?
So I guess, or before the birth. So I guess it was probably 6 months out. She was put on bed rest.
Oh, wow.
Because they were worried it was going to be stillbirth.
Oh, wow.
We hear different numbers, like 25% chance of living. I don't know. You know, those tails grow, so it's hard to know. But when we were born, I don't remember exactly how much I weighed. We were 2 months premature. I weighed somewhere around 4 pounds. But I never remember how much I weighed because my brother is like the real stat. He was 1 pound, 14 ounces.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was in the NICU for 2 months. I was in for 1 month. And and I think that's really shaped so much of our family. I mean, that was their first kids, were those twins, kind of the miracle babies. And yeah.
Has that affected like the way you two look?
So
do you look a lot different because of that?
I describe we have the same features, but I'm taller than he is, a little bit faster than he is. You know, and but it's funny how that works, right? Because then people find their different niches. I mean, my brother's like a really talented guitarist who's in a band, you know, on the side.
Okay.
And I don't even play guitar, you know. So it's funny how I would say the way that we started made us very different.
Yes.
I went to straight Jesuit for high school.
Okay.
And I went to St. Lawrence in elementary school in Sugar Land. And it's really common for people who go to St. Lawrence to end up going to straight Jesuit, or the boys who go to St. Lawrence go to straight Jesuit.
Okay.
My brother, when we were in 8th grade, was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to St. Thomas. Like I'm going to St. Thomas, rival school.
Oh, wow.
And so we split, the twins split, which we needed because, I mean, we were growing up and people are getting us confused. We were at the same school from preschool to 8th grade.
Oh,
and you have people like, which one's which? I'm like, I wear a white polo every day. He wears a red polo every day. How are you guys getting this confused? So it was good for us.
But now, is the difference big enough so that people don't get you too confused?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think they ever should have. I think they were just too lazy to say which one's which. You know, I was always taller and we were very different. But yeah, I think I laugh because he has a similar haircut to me. For a while, we used to keep different hair. He'd have it like really short or really long, and I'd kind of be in between. But right now, people are laughing when I was home for a little bit because they're like, man, you guys have like the same haircut right now. And I was like, I know, what's going on? He joins a band and then he gets a haircut like me? I'm supposed to have long hair. Yeah.
So you look different enough that when you get ordained a priest, he's not able to sneak in and pretend that he's you.
And, no. we don't have to worry about that. And
you can't pull a prank on the parish and have him.
And I don't think that we can never pull off in school, like the whole switch thing. It is funny though, because the way that I figured out that I needed glasses was my brother and I were joking about that at like a family holiday. And like we were changing clothes and I put on his clothes and his glasses. And I ran through the living room and I was like, I can see way better. What's going on? So he had glasses a little bit before me. But
you always think that you were going to become a priest?
Not at all.
Really?
It didn't even cross my mind until high school. And then even then it was a saga. So I liked the faith. I had a general good experience with the faith. Our pastor, Father Drew Wood, is still there. I mean, he was there for most of my childhood. And he was actually parochial vicar before he was pastor of St. Lawrence. And he was a great guy. And then we had a lot of parochial vicars come through St. Lawrence. It's just a big parish. Like Father Chaco recently retired. He was kind of a legend when he was there. Just a lot of different priests. And I still remember like Father Phil Lloyd. We had this British priest who's now at St. Teresa in the Park. I remember when he was there. And so a lot of exposure. And so I liked the church enough. And, you know, I was like, oh, the faith's pretty interesting. But when I went to straight Jesuit, you start studying theology. In my freshman year, I had a teacher, I guess, Father Mark Thibodeau, who he taught scripture. And I remember it kind of clicked with me. I was like, whoa, this is really important. So in two ways. One, just studying it and seeing how scripture kind of shaped my reality. I was like, oh my gosh, like this isn't just like an interesting thing that we believe in that we can compartmentalize. I'm like, this is the lens that I need to be seeing the world. And so that was one. And then two, he was an amazing priest, just sacramentally. I mean, in high school, you actually start doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And so I remember going to confession with him, and I mean, walking out and being like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to give that to people. I want to be able to just get out of the way and give Jesus's mercy to people. And so that was when I first started thinking it. I remember he would have us do journal entries kind of in the class about what scripture we were going over or whatever. And at the end, it was kind of like, write whatever you want to write about. And I remember I wrote, I'm interested in the priesthood, which that was kind of the first time I'd ever written that. But let's say I didn't enter right out of high school either, so it ended up being a saga.
It was a long road still.
It was a very long road.
What about your brother? Did anybody ever talk to him about becoming a priest?
There was a while.
Twin brother priests, you know?
So the dynamic of my brother and I, which he'll probably watch this interview, is neither of us can tell each other what to do. Like, that's not going to work.
Okay.
You know, you almost have to just hope that they do it. Like, the second you're like, hey, I know you're going to love this movie. I watched it. You should watch it. It's going to take 2 years for us to watch it. I mean, that's just how we are.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I was telling him to watch, like, the NBA for years. My brother didn't even watch sports. And now he is the biggest Rockets fan in the world, like bigger than I am. And so that's just how our relationship kind of is. So there was a while where I could have seen him like being like a Franciscan or something. He kind of has that spirituality, but we'll see. He's still not married.
Oh,
very devout Catholic. I'm very blessed. So I'm bad. I haven't talked about my sister yet. I have a younger sister too.
Okay.
And
how much younger?
4.5 years.
Okay.
She just got married this summer in the church, which was awesome. His Father Chad did the wedding.
Okay.
And I deaconed, I preached.
Nice.
So Father Chad would always say, yeah, I'm doing her wedding. You know, they wanted me to do it. Because technically I could, but not within a mass. And so I would always retort, yeah, but they needed a better preacher. So they asked me to preach. And so he's like, oh, come on. But it was awesome. I mean, my family's very close with Father Chad because we've been together in seminary for all these years. And so it was really like, oh, here we are. We're here. You know, we're doing my sister's wedding.
Wow.
All our family's here, and it was really fun.
So is it just the three of you?
Just the three of us.
Okay.
And we have a relatively small family, which is good. We're close-knit.
Does your brother feel any sort of pressure to carry on the family name now that you're, you know, on the verge of becoming a priest?
So I will say my parents are really cool about that in general, about like the whole family name thing. It's kind of like, follow God's will. I mean, my parents really are like that. I think that's become more refined as they've grown up. But I mean, I had no pressure from my dad when I was looking at the priesthood. He was like, that's cool. I mean, I remember he even said I was looking at religious orders, and he was like, man, that's pretty cool. I never really even thought about doing something like that. You know, there was a real admiration there. And so I will say they're just very supportive. You know, whatever our vocation is, follow God's will. They're so grateful that in this day and age, they somehow have 3 kids who are really practicing their faith. I mean, I like to joke that my 2 siblings are the holy ones, and I'm going to become the priest. You know, I mean, it's and
then
blessing.
and they've got the grandkids already, right? How many?
So we have no grandkids yet.
Not
my
yet.
sister just got married this summer.
Oh,
yeah. So,
okay, I'm sorry.
So but I'm sure we'll have some baptisms on the way, and right now all they have is a dog.
There you go. There's a grandkid.
And I preached in the homily. I said, that's not enough. I said.